Hey guys, Kelade here. So a couple days ago, Blizzard did change a lot of the Azeroth traits. One of the most notable ones is, of course, Cycling Wave did get reduced by 58% for warriors. Regardless of what spec and class you are, it doesn't really make sense for everybody to just make a video every time a change comes out, because there are a lot of changes. I think there's been like a hotfix every day or every other day. Right, there's a lot of other things that has been changed. For example, the rate at which Gale Force striking triggers is increased by 100%. This could actually make this enchant useful for us, but this is something that Sims will tell us. And instead of making a video every time, it's best, I think, for me to show you guys how to sim your character. It's a very fast process now, right? There's a lot of programs, a lot of ways for you to easily see where your character could be doing DPS and which two options could be better for you. So really quickly, just a breakdown for Sims, right? When people talk about Sims, there's generally two things. So I've made videos before on Simulationcraft and Raidbots. We're going to focus on that here, but there's been some changes, right, due to BFA, because there's Azeroth traits and such. So right now, there is Simulationcraft versus Ask Mr. Robot. You can, of course, feel free to use whichever one you want. Basically, the one you use, the one that you trust the developers of it more, right? Which one you think is more accurate to actual play, which one gets updated the most and such. For me, I just use Simulationcraft because that's the one I've been used to. It's also the more popular of the two, so that's the one I recommend. Not only that, most of the other websites and programs that you're gonna see, like Raidbots, like Blood Mallet, like Hero Damage or whatever, those are all based upon the Simulationcraft program, right? So when you go to Raidbots.com, Raidbots itself isn't the one that's creating the actual Sims, right? It's just having servers for you to run it on. It's still running from the Simulationcraft program. So whenever that program gets updated, all those other sites are getting updated. So for most people, you're gonna want to go to the Simulationcraft route, and Raidbots is one of the best sites, the easiest sites for you guys to just sim your character, right? And the other good thing about Raidbots, of course, everything is done on the browser, so you don't have to download a third-party Simulationcraft program by itself. You can just do it on your browser. One thing that I do suggest that you guys download is the Simulationcraft add-on, which you can just get from the Twitch client, where you download the rest of your add-ons, right? So once you download that add-on, it makes it super easy. So all you have to do is open up your chat window, type /SIMC, hit enter. This add-on will pop up with a message on your screen. It's already going to be selected. You just Control-C, copy everything that's in this window. Basically, this is all the gear that you have and all the gear that you have in your bags too. And then you come over to a program like Simulationcraft. There are 3 windows that I just want to quickly take a look at today: Top Gear, Quick Sim, and Stat Weights, right? Quick Sim is super self-explanatory. You just, paste what you just had, which includes all of your character information. Come down here, you run a Quick Sim, and it just runs a Quick Sim for your character. Alternatively, if you don't have this Simulationcraft add-on, or if you're not at home, whatever, you could always look up your character from the armory. So first you have your region, then you select the realm that you're in, and you type in your character name. It'll find it. It'll use whatever your character is currently on at the moment. Generally, you don't want to do that if you don't have to, because then you have to mess around with the talents and then your gear and all that stuff. I just download from the Simulationcraft add-on, because I can just obviously look at my character, swap around gear, swap around talents based on what I want to do. Right, so you can come down here, mess around with the options if you want. Default, it will be on patchwork with a single target, right? 1 box without ads, fight length 5 minutes, that's fine. You can do weekly SimC version, but if you think that some new changes just came out, like for example, you want to make sure that your Sims are updated to the hotfix that just happened 2 days ago, then you might want to switch to nightly. It's more recently updated, but it is more prone to maybe having some errors, right? So that's kind of the trade-off between weekly and nightly. And then you don't have to worry about this. This is if you want to change the APL yourself. And then you just click Run Quick Sim. You just have to wait your turn in line. Of course, you can always buy their premium thing and you just cut everybody. So once that's done, you're going to see this pop up on your screen. You can see that this is your character. That's the DPS you do. And, these are the gear and talents that you picked. That's it, right? The Quick Sim, that's all it tells you. It just tells you your DPS. Of course, you can always hit this button here, the full HCM report. It gives you a window similarly to what it would look like if you actually use a Simulationcraft. So if you like that interface better, you click on that link and you can see here, right? You can see the damage breakdown, and it has the same capabilities that the actual program would have, right? Just the web browser version is much more, streamlined for that one specific thing. Now, if you want to go to the other ones I talked about, right, you can always go back to the homepage and select them there. Or you can just select it from the top here. The other two I want to say is Stat Weights. Stat Weights is very similar to Quick Sim. Quick Sim, I don't use it as much as Stat Weights, which is Top Gear, because once I already know what my best gear is, I just want the Stat Weights so that way I can keep it for later. So Stat Weights is the exact same thing, right? I paste what I had from the Simulationcraft add-on in here. All the settings should be same unless you changed it earlier. and then you just generate stat weights. Same thing here, you just wait for it. So you can see the stat weights that are here for your character, right? For my character right now, haste for Fury Warrior is for me the best, and then strength is here. So this is my sim for my character, right? Your character might be different depending on the amount of crit that you have. Crit could and probably is higher in value. I just do have a lot of haste and crit. And as far as for importing this to your actual game, right? So you can see it pop up on your character, right? There's an add-on called Pawn, P-A-W-N. That's the second add-on you should download for this. The Simulationcraft add-on and the Pawn add-on, those are the two add-ons that you really need to update for, everything here we're talking about to work. You just have to copy that to clipboard. So if you just click on this button, it copies it. Or of course, you can always highlight it yourself. But we'll copy that. You open your character window. When you have the Pawn add-on downloaded, it'll show up with a button right here. All you have to do is you go to scale at the bottom here. You click import, and then you Control V, the thing that you just copied, and it will make a Fury version, right? The string that it gives you will actually just name it for you. So you can see the Kelade Fury Raidbots thing. If we go look at the weights, it's the exact same weight you just had, right? Haste was 1.86, crit, blah, 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 mastery and versatility. Great. So then when you have that, you open your gear. If there's something that's an upgrade, it'll show you, right? So for example, if we put on these boots, let's put on the other boots instead, right? Now it'll show me, hey, these boots are an upgrade for me, right? And it is, so I put it on. And that's all you need for stat weights. The thing with stat weights is technically you should get new stat weights for your character every time you have a gear upgrade, because it does change very dynamically, very fast. If you just get like 3 pieces that all have like haste crit versus like haste mastery, that could heavily change your stat weights. So as much as you can, if you do get a piece of gear, just do that process. Very fast, very simple. It'll make the next upgrade for your gear much easier to process, especially if it's not something like Azeroth traits where there's more things. When it's just like the bracers, the gloves, and the belt and all that stuff, the pants, the shoes, the rings. Those ones really just rely on whatever the best stat is for you. There's not really any flavor text on those at the moment, right? The next thing I want to show you guys is the top gear trait, right? Even though you do have stat weights and it does show something might be like 2 or 1% better, it might not always be the case if it somehow like pushes you below some type of like haste threshold, for example. So if you want to be really safe, you do check the upgrades with top gear. So you just paste the same thing we had before from the Simulationcraft add-on, and bam, it gives you all the possible gear you have, right? So back to our example of the boots, if you wanted to check which boots was better, you just select both. It'll make 2 combinations of gear and then you sim between them. But the thing I want to focus on here is going to be your Azeroth traits, so your helmet, your shoulders, and your chest. This is pretty much the best way of simming this, right? So right now, these are the things I'm wearing, right? So let's say right now I have Razan's Fury, but I want to sim that against Train with a Week. All I have to do is select it. It'll make another combination, it'll sim it, right? If I want to try out this helmet and I want to try out these traits, just select them all. Everything that is highlighted and selected, this will make a combination of all the different types of gear and it'll sim between them, right? So I can pick all these gear. Now, of course, there are limits you can see on the bottom, so you can't just go crazy and select every single piece of gear you have. There are limits, so be aware of that. If you guys do have a Raidbots account, you can do bigger limits. If you don't, then this is basically like the max you can do. So it's 300,000 right here for, just a free version. And then of course, if you guys pay for it, you can do 11 million. Once you make your choices here, right? Let's say you just want to compare all of these, and then you can come down here and you can hit find top gear. And then here, once it's done simming itself, right, it'll show you all the stuff. If it says your currently equipped gear is the top gear, and then you don't have to change anything, right? The stuff that you have is the best. But as you scroll down here, it will show you the different variations, right? It's like, oh, I could change my helmet to this one with Razan's Fury and Blood Siphon, and it does this much DPS. You can see it's around like 100 less. You can see all the different gear and the traits that's on them. So they've updated this, I feel like every day, every week almost, in the recent couple of weeks. So definitely check back. If there's some feature that you think is missing, it might just get added on later on. But this is it, right? So if you're like, hey, Siphon Wave just got nerfed, I have this other gear in my inventory, is that going to be better? This is how you're going to check. Of course, the Simulationcraft is a third-party add-on that is made by people, and it doesn't get updated like instantaneously, right? Like, let's say for example, this hotfix goes out on August 24th. Simulationcraft doesn't get like updated that instant, right? First, they have to add the changes in, and then it goes through a round of testing, and then it gets released, and then Raidbots has to implement that too. But that process is generally faster, so just wait a little bit, right? If the hotfixes come out on the 24th and you try to sim on the 24th, your sims might not be accurate, right? Because you do have to wait a little bit. But now that is the 26th, it's generally updated. Of course, you can always follow those various programs on whatever sources of social media they have to make sure that it is updated. But once it is right here, this is the fastest process, right? You just go to here, you type /mc, then you open this window, paste it in, select the gear that you want, bam, tells you what's the best, and you're good to go. The other thing I want to show you guys on top of it really quick is that you can also use this as a way to sim your gems and your enchants, right? So you can pick all the gems you want. Let's say you currently have all haste gems, but you're like, I kind of want to try mastery gems. Select the mastery gem, main hand enchant. You currently don't have enchants and you want to see what's the best. Just select them, right? Pick the 2 that you want. This is basically how I sim my character for enhancements, because you don't want to buy them and sim them every time, right? You just do it right here, good to go. And of course, you can just click this replace button and it'll replace all the gems that you currently have on your gear. Super simple, very easy to use. Of course, I can pick a re-enchant. There we go, and then you can sim it and it'll show you your DPS there. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully that was helpful for those of you guys that haven't experienced simming and haven't used Raidbots yet. But if you guys have, hopefully the Azeroth gear does help, because that is going to be one of the biggest contingents on why you have to sim your character in this expansion. There's going to be a lot of changes, especially in the upcoming couple of weeks. I'm sure Blizzard is going to be tuning some of those Azeroth traits even more, and this becomes even more important as those changes happen. But as always, thanks for checking out the video, guys. Feel free to subscribe to see more. See ya.